Recently, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi announced an impeachment inquiry into the President of the United States. However, I'm here to inform you there is no such thing. There is no impeachment. It's all a facade. The Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, her announcement of an official impeachment inquiry is really not what it appears. There really is no such thing at this time. After spending a few minutes quoting our founding fathers, extolling the virtues of the U.S. Constitution and the importance of our national security, and then declaring that President Trump is subverting all of the above, Pelosi in her press conference finally got to the point. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives is moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. That's what she said. Wow. The House is impeaching the president? This is historic. Well, no. It turns out that's not the case. In her very next sentence, she declared, I am directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella of impeachment inquiry. That's it. With the entire nation watching, Pelosi stepped up to the television cameras and boldly announced that, well, the House committees should continue doing what they're doing. But contrary to Pelosi's implication, they're not impeaching the president. In order to formally initiate an impeachment of a president, the House of Representatives must pass a resolution or a bill setting forth the various charges which the bill's sponsors believe present a case for impeachment. It's similar to a grand jury indictment. The prosecutor presents a bill of charges to the grand jury, and it decides whether to indict. None of that has happened here. Well, and what of Pelosi's charges against the president? Pelosi stated again in her press conference, press reports began to break of a phone call by the President of the United States calling upon a foreign power to intervene in his election. This is a breach of his constitutional responsibility, said Pelosi. However, Trump's requesting that a foreign government investigate credible allegations of corruption involving a former U.S. public official is not an intervention in his election or a breach of his constitutional responsibilities. By the way, Speaker Pelosi, there is no election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. In any event, such a request is certainly not a high crime or misdemeanor, which is the essential material element for any impeachment under Article 1, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution. On the contrary, it's the president carrying out his duty under Article 2, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Joe Biden himself admitted that he threatened to refuse to transmit $1 billion in U.S. taxpayer dollars to Ukraine unless its president fired the chief prosecutor who was at that time investigating Biden's son Hunter and the company Burisma Holdings LLC that he governed. He was on the board of directors. Knowing this, the president is required by the Constitution to investigate and bring charges against the Bidens if there is probable cause that they violated U.S. law. It's irrelevant if Joe Biden hopes to run for president against Trump. Biden does not get a get-out-of-jail-free card because he's a political opponent of the president. Further, Pelosi stated in her press conference that the U.S. intelligence community, the Inspector General, informed the House Intelligence Committee that the acting director of national intelligence blocked him from disclosing the whistleblower complaint. This is a violation of the law, says Pelosi. Well, although this is certainly not a crime, let alone a high crime or misdemeanor, Pelosi might be technically correct that it violates the whistleblower statute. The acting director of national intelligence did not forward the complaint to the appropriate congressional committees by the deadline, but he had good reason. The Justice Department stopped him. It was concerned the complaint did not satisfy the statutory requirements for a whistleblower complaint, and it contained classified information subject to executive privilege. Nevertheless, the administration has now agreed to provide the complaint. This brief delay in forwarding the whistleblower complaint certainly does not rise to the level of a high crime or misdemeanor. Later in her remarks, she said, "And this week, the president has admitted to asking the president of Ukraine to take actions which would benefit him politically. And she calls that a betrayal of the president's oath of office." That's absurd. Pelosi does not explain how the president has violated his oath of office. As explained earlier, the president is carrying out his oath of office by investigating the Bidens for corruption. That's his job. Further, most everything an elected official does, he does in part to benefit himself politically. Speaker Pelosi announced this impeachment inquiry to benefit herself politically. She needs to placate the more extremist wing of her Democratic Party who are demanding Trump's impeachment now. We can't make that a crime. We can't impeach Pelosi for doing so. So, in the end, Pelosi's impeachment inquiry is a fraud. She has not initiated an impeachment investigation or inquiry, if you prefer that term. But she is doing damage to the presidency. With her threats to impeach, she caused the president to release a transcript of his telephone call with the Ukrainian president, which, although it exonerates Trump of any wrongdoing, it jeopardizes his ability to conduct foreign policy. Now the president and every foreign leader with whom he speaks will be reluctant to talk openly and candidly about issues of national importance. Out of their fear, the contents of their call will appear on the front page of the New York Times, just like the Trump-Zelensky call did. Even the New York Times admits that rooting out corruption in Ukraine has long been a foreign policy goal of the United States of America. We cannot impeach a president for carrying out his constitutional duties. Well, that's about all the time we have today for the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. I hope you learned a little bit about the law. Thanks for listening and enjoy your lunch.